We've reached that point. The reboot. Reboots are a funny thing. Usually people write them off because they can't be as good as the original. Sometimes they are necessary to renew interest in a fatigued franchise. The plan to do a sequel after Armageddon didn't really pan out, and the reception to MK vs. DC was mixed at best. So what did we get for this game? We essentially got both. The trailers for this game looked really intense. The gameplay looked fast and fun. It was back to a 2D style gameplay, and it looked bloody. Oh boy, did it look bloody. They even got Kratos to be in the PS3 version, marking the first time MK has ever had a guest fighter, not counting the crossover with DC. Yeah, I'll put the God of War franchise on my to-do list. But I was watching all the trailers, and I was getting so pumped. I couldn't wait to play the cinematic story mode, and that's what we'll be taking a look at first. The story opens with the aftermath of Armageddon, and it's not pretty. Everybody is dead, and this really does a good job of setting the mood. The characters are all even in their positions from the Armageddon intro, so clearly the developers were watching that and taking notes. Which leads me to question some things as we see that Shao Kahn has defeated Blaze and obtained his power. Somehow. Kinda makes the whole Taven quest completely pointless. Raiden is almost dead, somehow he's somewhat sane again, and Shao Kahn is about to finish him off. Using an amulet that Raiden all of a sudden has, he sends a message back in time to himself during the Mortal Kombat 1 time frame. We see the usual combatants are there. Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya, Scorpion, and Quan Chi, Kitana and Jade. Nightwolf is there? Is that supposed to be Cyrex and Sector behind Sub-Zero? What code did I miss in Mortal Kombat 1 to unlock these guys? Regardless, we get to play as our first character, Johnny Cage. He's actually really enjoyable. He's got the right mix of cockiness and ego. So Cage fights Reptile and then immediately has to fight Baraka. Isn't this supposed to be a tournament? Isn't there supposed to be a bracket? None of the characters seem to question this either. So Johnny Cage is introduced to Raiden and Liu Kang, who tell him about the tournament. But Johnny Cage is more interested in chasing after Sonya. So Cage tracks Sonya to the pit, which is weird. It's obvious they merged the pit 1 and 2 from the classic games. I mean, I get it, but the background clearly screams Outworld. So this really should have been in the MK2 part of the story mode. Sonya and Cage have a bit of a pointless fight until he rescues her from Kano.
That's not a costume? Your actual military?
I don't think Special Forces wear those kind of outfits, to be honest. In fact, let's get this out of the way, but all the females in the game are almost naked for all intents and purposes. Show a little tact, NetherRealm Studios. Control then switches over to Sonya, who goes on to rescue Jax, who's locked up in a cell. Shang Tsung shows up and forces Sonya to fight some people, thus eliminating them from the tournament. I'm confused. Sonya is able to get Jax out with some help from Raiden, but the rescue helicopter is shot down. Raiden, Liu Kang, and Johnny Cage show up and Raiden heals Jax up no problem. Didn't know he could do that. He explains to them the deals of the tournament and that all the fighters are connected in some way. For now, the tournament must run its course. Control then switches over to Scorpion, who's only interested in fighting Sub-Zero. Raiden exposes Kung Lao, because I guess they felt like keeping that forgettable bit from Shaolin monks in. Raiden has a vision where he sees Scorpion killing Sub-Zero, leading to the rise of Noob Saibot. He makes a deal with Scorpion. If Scorpion doesn't kill Sub-Zero, he will ask the Elder Gods to resurrect a She-Ra Ryu, to which Scorpion agrees. Here we see Cyrex and Scepter arguing over the Cyber Initiative. They challenge Scorpion to a fight which Shang Tsung agrees to. Even though aren't they supposed to be on his side? Scorpion wins, so are Cyrex and Scepter eliminated now? Then Sub-Zero shows up. Scorpion teleports him to the Netherrealm and beats him there. Scorpion tries to spare him, but Quan Chi shows him images of Sub-Zero killing his family. I have to admit that this is a really well done scene. It really highlights what a bastard Quan Chi is, and Scorpion's look of shame as he holds up Sub-Zero's spine really highlights how all this could have been avoided. Control then switches over to Cyrax, who has qualms about the Lin Kuei turning people into robots. This ultimately leads to him abandoning the Lin Kuei, even though he shows up as a cyborg a few chapters later, which makes this chapter entirely pointless. So Control switches over to Liu Kang, who is now the last remaining Earthrealm fighter. Yeah, I really would have preferred if they had some kind of bracket system in place where you got to pick your fights. would have added a sense of interactivity to the story mode. Raiden tells Liu Kang that he believes that he must be the one who defeats Shang Tsung. At that moment, Liu Kang has to fight Kitana. He doesn't kill her, and I must admit that this scene is well done. Liu Kang is shown as a complete gentleman, and we begin to see Kitana showing a change of heart. Eventually, Liu Kang is sent down to the lair to fight against Goro. You know, why didn't he just teleport Liu Kang over the spikes in the pit? Nobody would have known. Liu Kang defeats Goro and then Shang Tsung. But the amulet is not repaired, thus alerting Raiden that something is wrong. We get a basic adaptation of the MK2 intro where Shang Tsung says that they could change the rules. Control switches over to Jax. Shang Tsung shows up, suddenly youthful.
You have been revitalized, I see. I didn't realize your master was in the habit of rewarding failure.
Yeah, really. So Shang Tsung gives the new terms to Raiden and has the Tarkatans attack the Shaolin temples. Raiden is convinced that now he must change the events and thus does not want Liu Kang to win the tournament. Sonya has been captured, so Jax, Raiden, and Johnny Cage set out to find her, so they arrive in Outworld. After a brief filler fight where Jax fights Johnny Cage, they find and rescue Sonya and discover two signals in Outworld. Raiden deduces that one of them could be the He Who Must Win. Boy, I wish Raiden wishes his future self was a lot less vague. Could have avoided a lot of trouble. We see the two signals, Smoke and Sub-Zero, who are there to find the original Sub-Zero's killer. Smoke figures that they should stay together, because Kuai Lang, assuming his brother's identity, will draw unwanted attention. Sub-Zero agrees, but then says that they should split up anyway because... I don't know.
Stealthful as the night,
and deadly as the dawn. Shang Tsung.
Yeah, stealthful as the night, huh? Yeah, good job exposing yourself to people who are testing out live missiles, you idiot. But it doesn't last, as Scepter shows up to take Smoke away to be cyberized. Raiden and Cage show up, and Raiden gets a flash of Smoke becoming a cyborg and puts a stop to it. It's at that point that we switch to Sub-Zero, who after repelling Cyrax, meets up with Sonya and Jax. They tell him that Bi-Han's killer was Scorpion, and to head to the Coliseum. It's there that Ermac makes his appearance known, and I do like how he comes across as a huge threat here. Jax decides to take some initiative, but Ermac ensnares him. But I'm sure Sub-Zero and Sonya will save Jax. Any minute now? Waiting. Okay, gonna do something. Oh, there go his arms. Bummer. So after beating Ermac, Sub-Zero pretty much leaves Sonya and Jax to fend for themselves. Dick move, man. So Sub-Zero encounters Scorpion. I wish there had been more of a reaction from Scorpion, but it is what it is. Sub-Zero is about to exact his revenge when the cyberized ninjas show up and prepare to take him away.
Tournament.
Sub-Zero? No!
You cannot save him. Stay here, or they will take you as well.
What? What do you mean you can't save him? You're right there! You have no excuse! And you caused Lin Kuei to form an alliance with Shao Kahn because of your inaction! Way to go, jackass! You're the god of thunder! Do something! Ugh. With that, Control switches over to Kitana, who is arguing with Jade in the Wastelands of all places. Probably because they didn't want to bother designing non-combat backgrounds. Yeah, what's up with that? Raiden tries to appeal to Kitana's better nature by reminding her of her mother Sindel. Raiden directs Kitana to the flesh pits because why not? Here she finds a clone of herself. Wait a minute, I don't believe Mileena was ever implied to be created during MK2. Somebody screwed up here. So Kitana beats her and Shang Tsung and takes him to answer for this horrible crime, only for Shao Kahn to basically give the whole tale of how he killed King Gerard and took Sindel and Kitana as his own. They prepare to execute Kitana.
bring me my daughter. Mileena.
I love that he named her like she was a pet. Control switches over to Jade, who goes to inform Raiden of Kitana's capture. Honestly, this chapter could have been cut from the game. There is a really stupid scene where Smoke mistakes Mileena for Kitana. I mean, how does anyone mistake these two for the same person? It made sense in the classic games, but here? No way! They look totally different. So Liu Kang and Kung Lao go to rescue Kitana. After getting some information from Goro onto her whereabouts, isn't Goro supposed to be assumed dead? Why do they keep forgetting this? Liu Kang prepares to free Kitana. The bad guys don't seem to care about him going to free her. Yeah, so Raiden figures he who must win to be Kung Lao. Kung Lao manages to defeat Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, who is there for some reason. Seriously, I don't remember fighting him in Mortal Kombat 2. What the hell? Then he beats Kentaro. And then this happens.
You see, Raiden? Earthrealm is free.
Kung Lao!
No!
Yeah, I totally love that nobody actually bothered to tell him to turn around or even stop Shao Kahn. Liu Kang is quite pissed and drives a fist through Shao Kahn's chest. With the tournament won, Raiden thinks it's over, but of course it isn't. Shao Kahn has managed to survive. It's here that Quan Chi says that Sindel sacrificed herself to prevent Shao Kahn from invading Earthrealm or something. I thought the whole arrangement was that Sindel was resurrected on Earth so Shao Kahn could reclaim his queen. Kind of an odd change when it was clearly laid out in proper terms, so the writers just made this up. So with that, we switch over to Stryker, who is repelling the invasion with his partner Cabal. That's new. They go to the streets where Raiden gets another vision and saves Johnny Cage from being killed by Mutaro. Oh boy. It's then that Cabal gets burned by Kintaro. Stryker is left to fend for himself, and I have to admit Stryker comes off as a total badass. Anything coming his way, he just stands tall and fights them down. He's recruited by Nightwolf, who strangely disappeared for the MK2 portion of the story. We cut to Cabal, who was healed up by Kano and given a respirator. Cabal is quite pissed at Kano for providing the Outward Forces with their weaponry and blames him for his condition. Except he got burned by Kintaro, so this makes no sense. Cabal breaks out and sees their forces bring Mutaro's body to Shao Kahn. Sindel vows to finish what Mutaro has started. Shao Kahn basically gives Shang Tsung's soul to Sindel. That's kind of a very anticlimactic way to kill off the series' first villain. That would have been okay. So Cabal makes his way back to Earth, where he is confronted by...
It's a side effect of the outworld magic. You are not authorized for portal use. Yeah. Says who? Sub-Zero. Unit LK520.
They actually did it? They had the balls, the cojones, to turn one of the greatest fighting game characters of all time into a robot? Please excuse me. They turned him into a robot! I can't believe they did something so dumb, so stupid, so... Moving on. So, Smoke shows up, and they take Sub-Zero back to their base, which is... the church, apparently. Jax pretty much just rewires Sub-Zero and fixes him. I mean, when I always read about Sub-Zero trying to get through the smoke when their roles were reversed, I imagined an epic, I know you're in there somewhere fight kind of scenario. This feels lazy. And I really must be honest, I don't care for this role reversal. The whole irony is that Sub-Zero basically found his humanity by rejecting the Lin Kuei, and in a tragic reversal, Smoke had his humanity taken away. Taking that away pretty much leaves Smoke with nothing. So they send the walking refrigerator in as undercover, but I do like how he's characterized here as a good man. Eventually he comes to the graveyard where he discovers Quan Chi about to enact the Soulnado that will take everyone's souls. Except that's not quite how it happened according to Mortal Kombat 3. They're just making this up now, aren't they? He has a brief encounter with Noob Saibot, learning from him that he's his brother. Control then switches over to Nightwolf, who puts a stop to the Soulnado by kicking Noob Saibot into it. Okay, sure. Raiden isn't happy, as all efforts have proven for naught, and is determined to get the Elder God's help. Taking Liu Kang with him, for some reason, they are left unguarded as the Lin Kuei attack our heroes. Why are the heroes in the church of all places? I mean, the background suggests that it's evil. I mean, look at that! Shouldn't this have been where Sindel was resurrected? And here we get to the stupidest scene. Sindel approaches our heroes, and despite outnumbering her 10-1, they all blindly charge at her like idiots, and most of them die. I don't see how the walking refrigerator got killed from that. Nightwolf survives and stops Sindel from killing Katana. See, he actually bothered to remember, hey, wait a minute, I have special powers! I should probably use them! This is where I must criticize the character chapter format. If anybody should be fighting Sindel, it should be Katana. Anyway, the Elder Gods pretty much tell Raiden to piss off. Liu Kang doesn't say anything, which makes me wonder why Raiden even brought him, other than the writers needing to get the one guy who could have saved them all from Sindel out of the room so she could kill everyone else. Lazy writing. So they return and find that Nightwolf kills Sindel in a kamikaze attack. Katana lays out her regrets to Liu Kang. Hey Raiden, remember your healing powers? Probably would be useful right about now. No? You're not gonna do it? Well, you suck, man. Liu Kang has finally had enough of Raiden's bullshit and pretty much tells him off, while Raiden decides to go get help from Quan Chi, even though he's already been helping Outworld, so this makes no sense. Raiden arrives in the Netherrealm. He offers the souls of those who die in the conflict in exchange. That's really evil, man. But it doesn't matter because Quan Chi already has their souls. What? Ugh, I hated this. 1. Turning all these characters into remnants is really lazy. 2. How the hell does Shao Kahn have dominion over their souls? They're not his to give. 3. I thought only evil or tainted souls could exist in hell. Did you guys just forget that? In fact, I hate to bring up mythologies, but he says so right here!
The Netherrealm is a place for evil beings. You cannot exist here unless you were tainted with evil.
Yeah, thanks. Well, regardless, Raiden realizes that they must let Shao Kahn merge the realms so the Elder Gods can stop Shao Kahn, and I give up trying to make sense out of this with continuity. So Raiden goes back, but Liu Kang is not willing to listen because why would you at this point? They fight, and Raiden accidentally sets Liu Kang on fire. How does one do that? Yeah, Raiden, you could probably heal him right up. No? Not gonna do that, huh? Well, your fault, man. So we get a nice little bookend as Shao Kahn is about to claim victory. But the Elder Gods decide to do something.
You violate our will, Shao Kahn. You merge realms without victory in Mortal Kombat. Our penalty is clear.
Well, that was an epic fail. But regardless, Raiden pulls through and Shao Kahn is destroyed. Raiden laments the loss of all the fallen heroes. Yeah, it all could have been avoided if you weren't so dumb. Quan Chi tells Shinnok that everything is proceeding as planned and Shinnok is about to be free, so that ends the story of Mortal Kombat 9. My honest thoughts on the story? Meh. Strong beginning, starts to fall during the second act. By the third act, it's just terrible, too focused on shock value than good storytelling. I will admit it is technically impressive that every fight has an intro and an outro. Some fights are just filler, like Johnny Cage fighting Sonya and Jax fighting Johnny Cage. Gameplay-wise, it's just a little dull to have to go from cutscene to fight, then cutscene, then fight. I wish it was more interactive like I mentioned before. Also, there were way too many one-on-two fights. These were completely unfair. Why couldn't I have had a tag team partner to even it out? Oh, and the final fight against Shao Kahn can go jump off a bridge. That sums up the story mode. Let's move on. The presentation of the game? Yeah, this is the best Mortal Kombat has looked in a long time. The graphics are colorful, the lighting is good, the animations are very much improved over MK vs. DC. The only complaint is that NetherRealm doesn't seem to do a good job with faces. Also, I already talked about how sexualized the female characters are, but some of the males don't get it too great either. Scorpion's outfit is way too over-detailed. But the blood is back, and you can feel the damage taking its toll on the characters where they look like a bloody mess. A little overboard, but I do love various things. I like how the characters have unique win poses. Characters finally have unique intros. Long overdue since every other fighting game had them. Each win pose adds something to the fighter's character. The character roster is pretty much everybody from the first 3 games, in addition to Quan Chi because I think he was supposed to be DLC for MK vs. DC, so they set him in here. Scarlet, a new character who's obsessed with blood, and it's even got Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. The first horror movie guest character, but not the last, let me tell you. The gameplay. Now this is where they delivered. Each button controls a different limb, so you can still link combos the way you normally can, and you can combine these combos with your special moves. It doesn't feel as slow and stiff as past games, it feels fast and responsive. I am by no means a competitive player, but there is a good balance between casual players and competitive players. Casual players can just pick up the game and have fun, while competitive players can form amazing combos. There's also new features to allow you to do that. See the combo meter under your life bar? You can fill it up by landing the first hit, performing special moves, or just getting hit. With one bar, you can do an EX move, a more powerful version of a character's special move. With 2 meters filled, you can execute a combo breaker. And with all 3 filled up, you can perform an X-ray attack. You will feel every blow as you're treated to a close-up of your opponent's bones breaking. It's up to you to decide how you want to use your meter. If you want to use it for EX moves to extend combos, or if you want to save it for an X-ray attack. I really do like how they went the extra mile by designing unique skeletons for all the characters. So Baraka, Shiva all have unique skeletons, so they really put in the work. So there's great variety in the combat system. Mortal Kombat doesn't start you from the center of the stage like every other game's in between rounds. Instead, your character will move back a few steps if they're too close. This does change up strategies for those who zone and corner characters. The fatalities more than make up for the lame ones of the last game. You see everything. Organs, skin tissue, and every character has a unique fatality. These are all top-notch. There's even stage fatalities, and these are pretty brutal too. My personal favorite has to be the one where you dunk your opponent's face in lava. So good. You can even perform babalities again, and these are actually very funny to watch this time. The stages? Well, aside from some odd absences like the Warrior Shrine, it's about what you'd expect from a game like this. The backgrounds all look very cool with lots of things going on. They really wanted to show their work in this game. The MK3 stages? I don't know. There was something so barren in the backgrounds which I thought was the point in MK3, whereas here you got massive battles taking place. And where's Shao Kahn's palace? It was in the background in MK3, but it's not here. Why? There's the challenge tower, which requires you to play as a certain character and accomplish certain tasks. It does keep things fresh and interesting. I wish they incorporated some elements from it into story mode. Your reward for beating all 300 missions? Yeah, it's Melina in this outfit. I thought it would be something cool, like a new character, a new story mode chapter, not something that makes me want to lose my lunch. There's also a variety of minigames. You got the usual test your might, test your sight with new games like test your strike and test your luck. This really makes the game fun to play with multiple friends over. You get tons of variety, limbless combat, magnetic floors. Well, I could go on, but we must continue moving forward and this review is getting quite long and I'm not done yet. There's one mode that I can't really go into, online mode, because it's a 5-year-old game and it's pretty much dead at this point. But it had a good structure with King of the Hill. That was a lot of fun to grade fighters on their performance. The crypt is back, and there's a lot more to unlock this time around, so it's going to take you a while to get everything. There's arcade mode as usual, and there are actually secrets for you to find. You remember all the secret fights in the first 2 games? They are all here. I won't give away how to find them all. Okay, I couldn't get them all while recording, but they're well worth the time to find. You either fight Goro or Kentaro as your sub-boss, though I seriously question the lack of Mutaro. Finally, you get to Shao Kahn. It's quite an epic final fight. Hard and he's cheap as hell, but when you beat him, you will feel the reward. Or you can do it the cheap way and stand really far away from him and keep spamming projectiles while he taunts. I won't judge. One thing I do love is that each character has a unique finishing combo when you finally land the finishing blow on Shao Kahn. It really helps to highlight your victory. After Shao Kahn explodes, you get the usual endings. Style-wise, these all look great. We have moved beyond pictures and text. They aren't cutscenes, but it feels like you're watching a movie. But they're just what if this character was the one who beat Shao Kahn, which is kinda disappointing. But I suppose there wasn't much room to work with since they killed off half of those characters in the story mode. Good job, guys. There's some weird aspects of them, like Kung Lao's ending reveals that he's the reincarnation of the Great Kung Lao. Even though the Great Kung Lao's soul is in Shang Tsung, so how could he be reincarnated? Kitana's ending has her forge a female fighting force with Melina and Jade. Which only makes me think of one thing. Yeah. I do like Sub-Zero's ending where he and Scorpion make a deadly alliance to avenge those who are wronged. God, I wish it was canon, but it was not to be. Liu Kang becomes a god, which seems to start their trend of making Liu Kang more of a villain than a hero. Not sure what started that trend. In fact, Vogel really does seem to like Johnny Cage a lot, but I'll save that for MKX. Oh, and I have to show Walking Refrigerator's ending because Shao Kahn somehow takes control of his body. And is this supposed to be creepy? Because it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So that's Mortal Kombat 9. Overall, my misgivings with the story aside, I have to give NetherRealm Studios credit. This game is a labor of love and passion and hard work. Everything about this game feels, well, complete. It has plenty of options for you to play with. After years of mediocre and forgettable gameplay, this game put Mortal Kombat back on the map. It redeemed the franchise. It was even the first Mortal Kombat game to play at that year's EVO tournament. Finally, Mortal Kombat could be taken seriously by competitive fighters. It feels true to the roots of the series, but it feels refined. Above all else, this game is fun, and that's the most important thing. Join me next time. I'll be looking at Injustice Gods Among Us before moving on to Mortal Kombat X. Thanks for watching, have a fantastic day, and take care. This is RetrospectGreg signing off.